Welcome back to Talk Horror to Me, the only movie review horror podcast that doesn't like taking trips to Europe. But before we bring in our amazing co-host, let's see what we're talking about tonight.
Tonight we review As Above, So Below, a 2014 American horror film written and directed by John Erick Dowdle and co-written by his brother Drew. The film marked the first film produced by Legendary Pictures and distributed by Universal Studios. In the film, archaeologist Scarlett Marlowe has devoted her whole life in finding one of history's greatest treasures, Flamel's Philosopher's Stone. According to legend, the artifact can grant eternal life and turn any metal into gold. When she learns that the stone is hidden underground in the Catacombs of Paris, she assembles a crew to guide and document her historic mission. As they begin their descent, the team members have no way of knowing that they each are entering their own personal hell.
Ooh,
very spooky package, I must say. Now, I picked this because I saw it and I wanted to see it again, and I love shit like this. This was like Descent, but on vacation, so I was digging that. And actually, I thought that this was a Harry Potter movie because I heard Nicholas Flamel. I was figuring this was like Harry Potter in the Sorcerer's Stone, but yet there was no Levioso or nothing. So I was a little disappointed.
Leviosa.
So with that, Carly, since you corrected me, what did you think about this film?
You know what? I ended up really liking it. I had a hard time in the beginning because the camera was really shaky and it was making me kind of nauseated. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
But once you get into it and you get into the storyline and you know the camera work settles down a little bit until they get into the catacombs and stuff. But the Nicholas Flamel thing was pretty neat, but I also had like a national treasure vibe. Mm-hmm. You know, and I love National Treasure, so I was like all into this, saying, okay, what's the next clue? What's the next clue? And it was fantastic. Once I got past the shaky in the beginning.
How about you, Miss Greathouse?
I love this movie. I think it's one of those films that you could definitely rewatch several times and still get so much enjoyment out of it because you're going to find all of the clues. There's a lot of full circle that happens. I like this movie, but I agree with Carly. If you get motion sickness, prepare yourself for this film because it is very shaky. But the storyline, like the whole plot, is genius. I think it's very well done.
Correct. Miss Brooke.
I also love this movie as well. I like the whole storyline behind the Paris catacombs, like the history behind it. So that's what fascinated me with this movie.
Yeah, I will say that they did shoot a lot of it on location in the catacombs. So the fact, and we all know it exists, especially with horror writers. We know that this place, Paris was built on top of these things. It's amazing what's down there. I kind of like when they were taking the tour and like they just kind of like fell back away from the group. And I'm like, dude, I would never fall back from the group. I ain't up there to be all like poking my hose in skulls. I was like, dude, put me in the front right next to the guide because I don't want to be scared. I don't want the lights to go out on me. So,
I would be the one in the back that's just kind of like gonna explore.
We're walking. Where's Ashley Greyhound?
Just over there with my little skull buddy, like.
I'm dead.
Oh boy, it's always Ashley in the gram, I gotta take a selfie with my skulls.
Yeah, real quickly. Look like you're really shocked, and I'm gonna hold my book up in front of you, okay?
Yeah. I will say that the one thing that I was inkling with, but Carl, you said it, was that National Treasure vibe. Like, I mean, I knew it in the back of my head that it was like, we got to follow these clues. And especially when they took off the placard and looked on the back of it, they did that whole thing. You're right. It was very reminiscent of taking the Declaration of Independence and putting the lemon juice on it. So I get that. But like, I think because it happened so quickly in that first act and then kind of got thrown away for the descent action adventure. Now we're going in these little tunnels and catacombs that I kind of forgot about it. But I do like that the fact that even when they were in some of the tombs, there was a lot of that still echoing. No pun intended. So,
especially towards the end, like the end, you definitely got like that National Treasure vibes back, like Indiana Jones vibes back.
It was almost so quick. I mean, the fact that she backtracked, number one, was amazing, that whole sequence. But the fact that she's trying to figure it out, they almost like did it so quickly, you missed it. So you had to be on the ball. And that's why, actually, like you said, it's a great rewatch.
Oh,
because
yeah.
it happens, and I can really focus in on all the details of what was going on.
Yeah, it was the details are what really had me enthralled in this movie. When they're showing is it Arabic?
That sounds
Anyway, it's an old language that I don't know, obviously.
Arabic.
Yes, Carly, all of the rest of us know Aramaic, but
yes.
whatever.
Having the one guy there, that was convenient. It was convenient that he ended up having to run in with them, but it's all good. It's all good.
I was it really troubled me every time they said we have to go down to go up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what absurdity are you saying to me right now?
Yeah.
I would have stopped right then. I'm like, I'm going to just die right here, because I am not going to keep going down thousands of feet to somehow magically go up. And then that was giving me palpitations.
I want to know what happened to what's his face though. He's just gone.
Yeah, a lot of them are just
Which
gone.
what's his face?
Right.
The one that he like disappeared down there to begin with.
Oh, the mole.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, was he there?
Dead.
But was he actually there, or was it just a phantom?
Yeah. Are we giving away spoilers?
This film is not that new, so we've given it a little bit of due, because how everybody's fear or their greatest regret, their greatest sin, the greatest thing they haven't dealt with was the thing they face. So it's very possible. Yeah. Now I'm just doing conspiracy theory. Very possible that one of them, their greatest regret was leaving him down there, not going after the mole. Because he never came back. Because he said, "You never came back for me." So maybe he was just a phantasm to one of their greatest sins.
Was it maybe Susie? Because
yeah.
I didn't realize that was a review. But I want to dig more into this. I really do. So let's get right into it, which is our favorites. Lots of things happening, probably not enough kills to really give us that grandiose, but let's talk about the greatest sin, greatest regret moments. Like, let's go with Brooke. Brooke, what was your favorite? Yes, Brooke. You're always number one in my heart. What was your favorite moment, whether it was like the thing they had to face of themselves or kill? What was your favorite thing?
My favorite moment was at the beginning. I know a lot of people probably won't remember this, but when the women were in there singing, first of all, how did they get in there? Well, they got in there the same way, but they've been in there. It looks like they've been in there forever. I'm talking about the women that were singing at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the beginning of the catacombs, yeah.
Yeah, they scared me at the beginning. Like when I very first watched this movie, I got scared. And I had to turn on all the lights. But
it represents it represents the first level of hell.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I didn't even know that at all.
Yeah, there was parallels to the different rings or levels of hell as they kept going down. What about you, Carly? Miss, I know everything about the rings of hell.
Well, what can I say? I am a murder baby, you know.
That's true.
But I gotta say, when Scarlett was like, "I'm so sorry, I didn't answer your call," I was like, you know.
Did you all notice that when she was at the very beginning looking for she found that big ball, she did see somebody being hanged that she then saw again at the end of the film. So that was a nice coming back to the moment that it was the same person. But yeah, I did love that. That kind of like her regret and like shutting that off. What about you, Miss Greyhouse?
I think my favorite is when they first realize that they're like having these hallucinations, basically, and the piano one. That one was probably my favorite scene because he was so excited to like see something that just reminded him of like such comfort feelings. And then when he hit that key and he was like, that was such a good moment. The way that they filmed it, that's my favorite.
Yeah, that and the phone were super creepy.
Yeah,
just the idea that like, wait, we're in some place that should not even be open to anybody, yet there's furniture in here. And I do like the line of like, how did they get a piano in here?
Yeah.
So I like that. Or that the whole thing that part of the city did sink and they just left it and built over. I thought was crazy. My favorite moment is a very similar moment to Quarantine or Record, if you remember the Spanish version, of the cameraman dropping through the well and splattering all over the floor.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Because it was so unexpected and like we're kind of been like we're doing a slow burn for all this creepy stuff. And they're like, plop, just plop. So it was just so sudden and out of the blue and out of the sky. That it just like it was like probably the biggest jump scare.
Yeah.
Without it needing like big sound quality or like big effect, but just like dropping some dead dummy body with blood packs in his head. That's all I needed.
That's fantastic.
Let me ask y'all a question. So whenever she had the crystal and she was bringing them back, how come she could bring the other guy back, but she could bring other guy back? You know what I'm talking about? Like
she couldn't bring Susie. Susie was dead.
Yes.
Oh,
she
cannot raise the dead.
Yes.
And the black guy too. Like did he just disappear?
He was dead.
Oh, he was dead too.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, I thought the other guy was dead too.
Which
I mean, I will say that there was some of those
dying.
Dying. I mean, the one guy was dragging him around for quite a while. Here's the thing. Since Carly seems to know all about this film, I'm going to ask Carly this. It's like the one thing that bothered me is all the weird hooded plague masked people at the very, very end sitting in a chair, like facing away, which was very Blair Witch, by the way. Very much like that guy facing the corner in the basement of the cabin. But like, I don't know, like it almost seemed that was the only part that really took me out of it. I was like, okay, so now we have these weird priestly robed, strange figures walking around. I mean, it was creepy, but I don't know. I just didn't see how it really equated to the rest of the movie.
I thought that they were just like the ones that were singing. I thought that they were like all.
Well, they were all singing. They were like half naked, if you remember, all the ladies, like in that like one little alcove at the beginning, singing it up. But now then we had all these black, pointed, hooded, robed people at the end of it.
Yeah, I thought they were all the cult people. Anybody that's like doing cult stuff, I'm just immediately like, don't question it. It's cult shit, you know.
Just cult shit. All right. And maybe I need to, but like everything else had.
No, you're right.
Yeah. Okay. Good. At least it wasn't just me. It was there for the scare factor, and even the walls coming to life with. That was creepy. Which actually still made sense.
Right? They were like golems, weren't they?
Yeah, kind of, or like even gargoyle-esque. They were just kind of figures coming to life. But yeah, and the hooded figure sitting in the chair was creepy as F. Don't get me wrong, but it just seemed all of a sudden was like, all right, since there was nothing to really place them there that I remember, like there was just kind of like, oh, we'll just throw these guys in for more creepiness
Yeah.
versus having like something kind of like foreshadowing that. And maybe I missed it. Maybe it was on a placard somewhere. I don't know.
I don't know. Because we never really saw what Zed had a problem with, other than we know it's because he had this child that he didn't acknowledge.
Mhm.
But we never saw any of his shit. What's up with that?
Yeah, and I can't imagine that the baby that I never acknowledged was going to turn into hooded figures chasing him down. So, like, I would have been fine. Again, this is always me with storytelling. If you would just give me a little glyph or a little like a fresco painting with some weird hooded figures on it, even if it was in that bell tower that the guy was fixing.
Yeah.
It's like, give me something to kind of tie it together and not feel like it was just like, oh, we need some more scares at the end. That's me. I'm about storytelling.
No, that's a good catch.
I go. But again, I really top to bottom this thing was definitely full on creepy.
Yes.
Did you guys think it's aside from the intro where she was in Iran, I believe, going through those tunnels before they blew up? Did you feel it paced well before they got into the catacombs?
I thought it was like a little hit or miss. Draggy, and then some parts were just sped up. I don't know. Not enough to take me out of it, though.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard. Go ahead, Carly.
The club kind of got me because that was like a big. That kind of took me out a little bit.
But we had to go because that's how we met. What's his face?
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Now, did we ever figure out what the deal was with the woman outside the club that the cameraman kept seeing?
She ended up being in the catacombs too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wasn't she?
With the guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So apparently, I saw this movie like 3 weeks ago, so some things are a little vague. And again, need to watch it like 4 or 5 times.
You would have to. I'm definitely amazed that this doesn't have like a bigger like fan base around this movie because there's so much to it, and the fact that it's like historical fiction, it's fun.
Well, interestingly enough, when I first saw this film, it was based on a recommendation by a coworker who loves this movie to death, like watches it every chance they get. Up to that point, it was not available for streaming, so I did not watch it. And then, bam, a week later, it's available for streaming. And I'm watching this sucker because she was so amped up about it. So it does have, I think, a rabid fan base. It just didn't get critically, didn't make it to the top. And I don't get it. It's like, I don't think there's anything in this film that was like, oh, that was poorly done.
Right.
I was like, it was, again, solid top to bottom. But, what do we know, though?
Right. We're just critics.
We're just overly critical. That's all we are. But
we're being generous. We're generous overly critical.
We are.
Yeah, but you know what? But we also find that there's always something good in most films. It's like there's some semblance of good truth and honest scares in horror. Pretty much in anything we look at. And I think that's because we pick things that we think will be good or we know will be good. So we're probably swayed that way. So with that being said, what are we rating this, kids? Since this is mine, I'm going to say, I like picking on Brooke, so I'm going to pick on Brooke again for her rating.
My facial expression. I'm going to rate it 4.8. Fire sucking people. I don't know. Like when the fire sucked them in. I don't know.
Great scene, by the way. Great scene. 4.8. Guy sitting in fire car and guy getting sucked into fire car. Fantastic. That was actually really good. I just think the guy needed to give him 10 more seconds to say he was sorry because he didn't even get a chance. He was in such denial. But here's the thing in that one specific scene because I want to make sure it was all premised. He did keep denying it even when he did see the guy in the car.
He did.
It's like, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. He didn't own it even in that moment. Yeah. So that's why he got sucked in. Spoilers. Miss Murder Baby Yates.
Yes. I am going to give this I have to take off points for when it made me nauseated. But I'm going to give it, a solid 4.2 splat.
That's it. We all know what that means. Just splat. That's
Dude.
it.
Well, it was Susie, and
Yeah.
the
Love it.
face down.
All right. I give it to you because I love that scene.
Yeah.
Miss Greathouse.
I'm going to give this 4.5 daddy issues.
Oh,
What's
Lord.
sponsored this movie? Without it, we wouldn't have a movie.
Exactly.
Right. I'm gonna ironically, I could deep cut this, which I know you'll love, or I could go with the obvious. So let's see, what should I do? Because there are so many cool elements in this that even object-wise. But I'm gonna go with the obvious, and I'm surprised Carly didn't jump on this. I'm gonna get a 4.5 Philosopher Stones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the obvious one.
And here's my question. Because I didn't look this up because I'm like, wait, this is now in Harry Potter. This is now in this movie. Is this a real person?
Yes.
It is. Okay.
It is.
Like, that just goes to show you, I just assumed it was a made up character.
So did I.
yeah.
I had to look that up after the movie was over. I was like, what the hell are they doing? Ripping off Harry Potter. Oh.
I'm gonna word a strongly worded letter to J.K. Rowling and say, hey, these people stole your idea. But yeah, I was very surprised that this alchemist was a real deal person, which I, by the way, would love to see the guy who was up there repairing, like suicide repairing bell towers. I was like, I want to see that story.
Yeah.
I want to see all that craziness because I'm like, dude, I would love for you to like break into my house and fix things like a shoe elf.
Yeah.
And no one knew that he was up there either. Like, if I was a person that lived in that town, I would be like, "This is a sign. We all need to go."
Right.
That never worked. 200 years, it hasn't workked.
Well, you did see everybody like stopping and staring up at it.
Yeah,
Which
they're
I thought
like,
was pretty funny.
and he's just over there. I did such a good job. The last time it rang was when the Black Plague happened. You know, look what I did. Fixed it.
And I will say that whole, I mean, and I think that their relationship, the two of them, about her leaving him in a prison and like and not ever being back to him. I mean, there was I love that, like how well they created the dynamic between the two of them without really forcing a lot of talk about it. And then, just the fact that he held it against her and then forgave her. And yeah, and it was just done very well. It didn't need a lot of, let's talk about it, make sure everybody knows every facet of this story.
And then he was going to leave, but then the cops showed up. And this is like horror's version of one bed. This is our one bed trope.
So what else do we think about this film? What else can we tell the fans?
I like the ending whenever they left and then they was just like, oh, just looking around and just walked away. And the guy that was sitting down on the curb, he just looking at them like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I love the effect. I love the fact that they had to push against it below them and push it. I mean, the way they did that whole flip was that whole scene was fantastic. I really made the film it made the film be what it was in terms of we have to go down to go up. I have to backtrack to do all these things and come back to you. So I think that at the end they really tied it up with a perfect. The only thing that could have happened that would make sense to get them out.
Mm-hmm. It was good. I liked it.
Yeah. But definitely worth a rewatch. So please, if you watched it and you're like, I liked it but didn't love it, definitely try it again because now that you know what happened.
With Dramamine.
With Dramamine for some of us. They should put that as a warning label before this film, anything that's got handicap. But yeah, I think definitely worth at least 2 views just because it needs it. And the things you pick up and very suspenseful, very creepy. Not a lot of blood, not a lot of gore, which I kind of love not having to be all splatterified. But again, I love Saw, so I get that there when I need it. But that, I mean, okay, enough about me. I picked this film. I love this film. Y'all love this film. But who's next? Who's picking the next film? I need to know right now.
It's me.
Who's got
It's
two
me.
thumbs in picking this film? This girl. Okay.
Yes. Yes, well, I had to come up with something really quick because I just realized today I had to know my pick. And well, just a few minutes ago, honestly.
Sure. Sure.
So
She did she did backstage, y'all. Just
did.
FYI. Yeah.
I did. Evil Dead Rises.
Yay.
Yay.
Is it Rises or is it
Or
Rise?
Rising? Or is it Rise? Evil Dead.
Oh my god.
I think it's Evil Dead Rise.
Evil
I
Dead-
think it's Evil.
Dead Rise?
I
Okay.
think
Or
so,
is
yeah.
it Rises?
We'll find out. Carly's gonna look it up right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to look it up right now
She's
because
she's
it's
gonna make a
funny.
fool out of me in 5 seconds. 4,
Google it.
It's
3.
Evil Dead Rise.
Yes. Even the dog knew. Even the
checks
dog knew
out.
I was right.
That checks out.
Checks out. Checks out.
Yes. I mean, we don't have Ash, but we, from what I understand from those who have seen it, we don't need him.
Nope.
Oh.
I mean, I will tell you.
Well.
I will tell you a secret. I can tell you a
What?
secret. Bruce Campbell was in this film. Let me tell you how. Bruce Campbell bit into an apple doing a Foley as a pickup for one of the sounds in the film.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So little tidbit for you. So if you see like something crunching and squishing, is Bruce Campbell biting an apple.
Where did Brooke go?
Oh, her connection not connected. It's I.
Aw.
Connection.
You know how some people make a grand entrance? Brooke
Yes.
loves to make a grand exit.
Right, exit.
Brooke is Batman.
He gets her to he's like, that's fantastic. But then she's back. Hey, Brooke, welcome to the show.
I'm like sitting over here fighting with her. Stop
Basically, the dog took a paw and went bleep, and then disconnected the phone.
Brooke, I said
So-
that you're like Batman because you just disappear.
Stop.
So, Carly, where can we
Yes.
watch said film?
You can watch said film on Max, which was HBO.
Max.
Yes.
All right.
Max.
Max. Okay, so as Carly said, and we will say to the audience, yes, there is no character named Ash.
No.
It is, as I said, kind of Evil Dead universe adjacent. It's using the same demon, the same kind of vibe of the demon. I don't know if the Necronomicon actually shows up in this film. I don't remember. I have to watch it again. Can't wait.
I'll look for it.
Yeah, I want to say yes, but I also want to say no because I don't remember. But because I watched it when it first came on Max, so I'm excited to watch it again. It is creepy AF. I think you're all going to enjoy it. If you are an Evil Dead fan, you're going to love it. I think if you're not a fan, I think it's universal enough that you will enjoy it. Yeah. Tell them, Ashley.
Yeah.
I agree. And if you guys are so tore up about Ash not being in this movie, I'll be your Ash.
There we go.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
I'll fill in.
I love it. Ash, I appreciate your sacrifices.
So just for the team.
You are amazing.
Woohoo.
But
I
with
just want
that,
chainsaw on.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, I used to have a foam finger chainsaw that we got from Comic-Con because we went there to see Ash vs. Evil Dead, so we got foam chainsaws.
That's so cool.
That were very cool. They were very cool. We had a good time watching Bruce Campbell on stage. He is also a delight in person to see him do his craft. Yeah, I've seen him several times actually. So that's my flex. That I've seen Bruce Campbell in person like 3 times. Thank you so much.
That's a very good flex. Though.
Well, thank you. With that, ladies, you're always my highlight on Sunday nights.
Yes.
Love you all. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Beep, bop. And even Brooke, you're lovely, Coraline. We love her too.
Oh, Coraline. Oh, stop.
He's a mascot.
We gotta have a mascot. So with that, I will bid you all adieu. And with that, thank you everybody for coming back to see us every Sunday night. Enjoy us for next time and make sure. Oh my God, what am I doing? I don't even know how to do the show anymore. So thank you so much for joining us this Sunday night. We hope you enjoy what we do. We hope that you can like and subscribe and enjoy it for next week. And remember, next time we're around, we're here to scare you later.